A WWE superstar has been arrested, Goldberg potentially returning to the WWE, and we're talking about an NXT main roster call-up, all in today's episode of The Ango Show. Were you expecting Happy Corbin's theme song when that was playing? I don't know. Random thought, random question. But nonetheless, we're going to get things started with Cameron Grimes because obviously there's been a lot of talk about Cameron Grimes. When is he going to come up to the WWE main roster? Now it appears that WWE still has plans to call him up to the main roster, but according to Dave Meltzer, they don't have a storyline plan for him. So now they are just waiting for something to happen here. Now, for those who are also unaware, last week on Friday Night SmackDown, WWE actually had Cameron Grimes work a dark match, which was like a pre-show thing. He lost to Ashanti the Adonis, who is obviously from Hit Row. And then, of course, this was just kind of to see where he fits with the WWE universe in terms of reaction. People in the crowd said that the reaction wasn't that loud. Also, some other people in the crowd said the reaction was pretty loud. Now, this is where things get really interesting because depending on crowd reactions before the call-up can really determine maybe how successful they are. I think if WWE is going to bring him up, I think it's really important to mention that WWE should, in fact, air some sort of vignettes or introductory stuff for the audience to get used to who he is. I do want to follow up with saying that PWInsider.com has, in fact, reported that there are rumblings internally that Cameron Grimes is expected to be called up to the main roster, possibly after WrestleMania. But keep in mind, in the meantime, we have not seen him on NXT. So that's where things get a little bit confusing. But I still think the point remains the same. I think if you're the WWE, you do need to introduce Cameron Grimes to your audience, video packages, something. I don't know. Clearly, there is a huge gap in viewership between WWE's main roster shows and NXT, and Cameron Grimes has zero momentum currently because he's not on NXT television. If you're going to call him up, please don't do some sort of surprise. Please, please, please. Nonetheless, guys, we're going to turn our attention to Goldberg. Yeah, so Goldberg, he wrestled once in 2022. That was the match against Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber. He obviously put over the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, the Bloodline. Now, he was speaking with Sports Illustrated, and basically Goldberg was saying, he was asked if he would be wrestling again. And he stated that the WWE owes him a retirement match, but it's not something he's waiting for the phone to ring. He's not waiting for the phone to ring for a return, but he feels like they owe him a retirement match. He even says specifically, you can never say never, especially in wrestling, and they owe me one. That's all I can say. I made a deal with the devil and I did my job, and they owe me my retirement match. At the end of the day, at 56, it's not something where I'm sitting by my phone waiting for it to ring. I've got a few ideas on how to do it on my own, possibly in Israel, so never say never. So Goldberg is talking about a potential return. Obviously, with WWE, we don't know if that's the case, but of course, indie wrestling exists outside in the world, I should say. So Goldberg returning for a retirement match in Israel could be a really big deal as well. But if Goldberg wants to return to WWE, it's got to happen in a way where he is putting over other talents. Now, if you guys aren't in our Discord server, I'd highly recommend checking out Discord. We've already been talking about this in our Discord server. And the Ango Army's got some hot takes. A lot of people really do agree that Braun Breaker should be the guy to take out Goldberg. Plus, obviously, there is some history there with, Braun Breaker's family. If I'm the WWE and I'm going to bring in Goldberg and he's going to have his retirement match, if he's putting over Braun Breaker, I mean, that is an exceptional way of doing so. But I think it's really important that WWE doesn't have Goldberg go over, which is kind of tough because I just don't know. I don't know Goldberg personally. I've met him a couple times. I met him at WrestleMania. I've had conversations with him, as a fan, right? Like and I feel like he just seems like a cool dude. And I think a lot of times people give him shit, especially the internet wrestling community. But if he's having a retirement match, I feel like he knows he would have to put somebody over. And that'd be cool, man. I feel like WWE could benefit from it. And I think Goldberg could benefit from it too. His last few matches in WWE weren't the greatest. And it's not his fault, obviously. I think a lot of that stems from Vince McMahon and his booking. But nonetheless, that's kind of where we're at with the whole ordeal. Nonetheless, Goldberg could be returning to WWE. He could be wrestling in Israel. Who knows? It's going to be super interesting to see how that all goes. But I'll keep you guys updated. And guys, for our main event of today's video, we are talking about Sonya Deville. Yeah, so she was arrested on a firearm charge, and obviously a lot of people are taking to social media, clickbaiting the hell out of this, trying to get the hot, juicy takes out of this. But I kind of want to explain what's going on. So for those who don't know, Sean Ross Sapp tweeted out that WWE Sonya Deville was arrested in New Jersey recently for having a firearm in her vehicle. A subsequent report from TMZ then said court documents show Deville, whose real name is Daria Bernardo, was arrested on February 19th in Atlantic City and charged with 1 count of unlawful weapon possession, handgun without permit. TMZ heard that a valet driver discovered the weapon in the glove compartment of Sonya's car and called the police. Both sites say the weapon was licensed in Florida, but not in New Jersey. They also agree that Deville began carrying the weapon after she was a target of a well-documented home invasion kidnapping plot in 2020. For those who remember, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here. If you don't know, she had some stalkers. It was crazy. Just look it up. Nonetheless, Sapp also admitted that the 29-year-old WWE superstar is in the process of having the case against her dismissed, which I think sounds pretty logical. TMZ reached out to Deville and WWE for comment, but hadn't received a response as of this time. Fightful's WWE sources have noted that there is no heat on Sonya Deville for the arrest, as the company understands very well as to why a stalking survivor would carry a weapon to protect herself and her loved ones. Now, also, in the meantime, for those who don't know, recently, Sonya Deville also got engaged. So a lot of this is happening around the same time. Safety and everything like that will obviously come first. I see a lot of people are trying to position this as a very, very nasty situation, which, based on the information that is made public at the time, it doesn't really seem like any of that should be a concern. As far as WWE goes, I think, with Sean Ross's sources coming out and essentially saying that there's no heat on Sonya, I think that also makes a lot of sense. And as far as, the potential possibilities of the case being dismissed, I think that also makes a lot of sense too. Sonya Deville is, honestly, she's a great talent for WWE. I hate that a lot of people are trying to use this headline as something to be negative or crazy or ridiculous, but at the same time too, that's just kind of the way things are with social media and stuff. So it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but hopefully everything goes in favor of Sonya Deville. And yeah, I'm going to keep you guys updated along the way with all of the biggest stories, obviously, in pro wrestling. I do appreciate you all for stopping by and watching this video. And if you guys aren't subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time right here on The Ango Show.